You guys know me, and you know I wasn't going to let Mike Davis post this shit, this racist shit, and not spend some time talking about it. So, for those of you that maybe are just tuning in right now and you're just listening along, let me tell you what Mike Davis posted yesterday on X, which is a cesspool, and this is the reason why I don't spend time there anymore, but I wanted to share it with you. So take a look at it while I read it. And let me be clear, not my words, Mike Davis's words. Quote, "We should only help people who can't help themselves." Oh, you know what? Let me back up for a second. This is in response to a headline from The Hill, a publication, that states SNAP funding expiration set to hit 40 million people. Okay? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. So what did Mike Davis say in response? He could have just let it go. He didn't have to quote tweet it. He didn't have to say anything at all. But he's such a racist piece of shit that he felt like he wanted to put it in here. He's also a Republican, just in case you weren't sure. Quote, "We should only help people who can't help themselves. It's outrageous 40 million people get food stamps. Get off your fat ghetto asses. Get a job. Stop reproducing. Change your shitty culture. Stop giving food stamps to immigrants. We don't want you here if you won't work." Well, you know, Mike, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the facts because vibes don't cut it, folks. Republicans love to vote on vibes. Republicans love to feel like things are okay when in reality, the Trump regime sucks and is hurting all Americans, but especially Republicans. Well, let's go to the Trump administration's website, the USDA website. Let's go check it out together. Ready? Let's go together. This is what's posted today. Today, at the very top of this government website, an official website, and it says it here, an official website of the United States government. Exclamation point. Quote, "Senate Democrats have now voted 12 times to not fund the food stamp program, also known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Bottom line, the well has run dry. At this time, there will be no benefits issued November 1st. We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. They can continue to hold out for health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation procedures, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and the most vulnerable among us can receive critical nutrition assistance," end quote. Well, that's a lie. So ladies and gentlemen, just in case it wasn't clear, you can't trust your federal government websites anymore because number one, they are run by people that are a part of the Trump regime. And number two, they just spew lies. So instead, let's trust our independent media and our independent resources so that we can get the facts and the facts only. So what are the facts? There's a contingency fund at the USDA. That contingency fund has money to be able to provide, not all, but some of the funding that is necessary beginning November 1st to help more than 40 million low-income food stamp beneficiaries, right? It is a contingency fund which Congress has already allocated for emergency scenarios, just like, what? A government shutdown. There is between $5 billion to $6 billion currently located in that fund. Now, like I said a couple of minutes ago, it's not enough to cover the $8 billion shortfall. But heck, I'll take $5 to $6 billion if it'll help millions of Americans, even if it's short the $8 billion. And I'm going to get into why we're short in just a second. The USDA, run by Trump hacks, is saying the following. They're blaming the Democrats for the fact that the USDA's contingency fund is not going to be deployed. They say that that fund was designed to respond to unforeseen things like natural disasters and that a current shutdown doesn't qualify. Why? Because it's not a natural disaster. It's a, quote, Democratic manufactured scenario. Let me be clear. It's the Republicans who have caused this shutdown. It is not the Democrats' fault. So no matter how much the Republicans want to post bullshit lies on government websites, it's not the Democrats' fault. There is very clear language that states that this contingency fund, that it is a legal requirement for the USDA to be able to pay SNAP benefits in the event of a shutdown. So guess what's going to happen? There's going to be a lawsuit, and the Trump administration is going to be forced to have to use this contingency fund. But the reason why there's a shortfall is the budget for 2026, the one that's kind of the holdup here, right? Because Republicans don't want to allow health care for millions of Americans, etc., including to make up for the millions of dollars that are being slashed on Medicaid and other healthcare subsidies. The fund, that contingency fund, it currently has money from appropriations in fiscal years 24 and 25. So that fund gets rolled over in 3-year increments. So you have 24 and 25, right? But you don't have 26 because we don't have that budget approved yet. Now listen to this. Some states can actually have some state funds to make up and to temporarily cover that shortfall for its residents. States like Virginia, for example, can say they can do it on a temporary basis. But the USDA has said the following. States, if you use your state funds, do not look to us for reimbursement. So even though they have the money, and even though they're required to do it legally, as in to use that contingency fund of $5 to $6 billion to help millions of Americans, almost 40 million Americans, be able to cover some portion of their SNAP benefits starting November 1st, the USDA, run by the Trump administration, and I'm going to say it over and over again, and y'all going to be like, Katie Phang, we got it the first time, and I'm going to just do it just in case the people in the back in the cheap seats aren't fucking hearing it. The USDA, run by Trump lackeys in the Trump administration, is refusing to disperse the contingency fund of billions of dollars that could help millions of Americans when it comes to the expiration of their SNAP benefits effective November 1st. And states that are willing to step into the breach and use their state funds temporarily to do it, because a lot of states just can't do it, like my state of Florida, and we'll get into those specifics in a heartbeat. The USDA has said they're not going to reimburse the states. So what do you think is going to happen? You think the states are going to pony up the cash? Of course they're not. Why could you? Why would you? I mean, there will be the Democrat states, right? Because that's what they do. They understand the plight of Americans, regardless of political affiliation, and they're going to step into the breach. Let's stay in the lane of facts, people, because this is important. And if I haven't said it yet today during this video, fuck Russell Vote and Donald Trump. Okay. Democrats have made it perfectly clear that this government shutdown was created because the Republicans refuse to help Americans with their health care. You have the tax subsidies that are going to be up at the end of 2025. You have the attacks on the Affordable Care Act exchange, right? Obamacare. You have all of the slashes to the funding for Medicare and Medicaid, right? I'm going to remind people that big bullshit bill that got passed, courtesy of the Republicans a couple of months ago, $186 billion in SNAP benefits was cut in that big bullshit bill. Say it again. $186 billion was cut in SNAP benefits in the big bullshit bill. That is owned 100% by the Republicans. 100%. They own this fucking shutdown, and they own this SNAP benefit atrocity that is happening. The largest SNAP cut in American history happened on Republicans' watch just a couple of months ago when they passed that big bullshit bill. So, unlike the reality and the truth, because, Mike Davis lives in a land of fucking delusion, because his allegations here that SNAP beneficiaries are ghetto and fat, that they don't have jobs, that they're reproducing, and listen, it's not a dog whistle, it is a racist bullhorn that is coming from Mike Davis. Food stamps to immigrants, shitty culture. I mean, they're lies. And let's talk about how they're lies. And by the way, this is from actual, agencies and studies. SNAP benefits mostly go to children, elderly persons, or individuals with a disability. 86% of all SNAP benefits go to households that include a child, an elderly person, or a person with disabilities. In addition, about 92% of all SNAP benefits go to households with income at or below the federal poverty line. So people like Mike Davis are saying crap like, go to job, stop reproducing, get off your quote, what, ghetto fat asses or whatever he said. Oh my God, how funny. 37% of SNAP recipients are white. They include Republicans, mainly too, in certain rural areas of red states. Republicans. Mike, are you telling Republicans to get off their fat ghetto asses to be able to go and get jobs? Are you telling Republicans, the white 37% SNAP recipients, to get off their fat ghetto asses and to stop reproducing? I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Didn't you just say that we need to actually have more children? That we need to increase our birth rate? Yeah, because you can't get an abortion, even though reproductive rights and reproductive freedom is a basic fucking liberty. Can't get that, but you're not going to give childcare, you're not going to give insurance, and you're not going to give SNAP benefits. But I digress. Almost 1/3 of SNAP households have earned income, although only 20% of those households have gross monthly income above the federal poverty line. In other words, because people like Mike Davis are too fucking slow to figure this out, people are working, even when they're getting SNAP benefits, but their jobs are so low paying, either because the minimum wage sucks in the US, or they're not getting paid enough for the work that they're doing, that they have to turn to SNAP benefits to make up the difference, to supplement their income, because 20% of those households are below the federal poverty line. The average SNAP monthly gross income household is $872, with net income at $398. That's not a lot of money, people. The vast majority of SNAP households do not receive cash welfare benefits. Only 4% of all SNAP households and only 10% of SNAP households with children receive benefits through the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program. So it's not like they're just sitting there like welfare kings and queens collecting welfare and SNAP benefits. Not happening. SNAP actually helps people. It helps. More than 9% of households moved above the federal poverty line because of SNAP benefits. When you included them in gross income, 10% of the lowest income SNAP households moved out of deep poverty as a result of getting help. And people, it's not a lot of money. We're not talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, people. We're not. 36% of SNAP households receive the maximum allotment. The other 64% get less than the maximum. The average monthly benefit per household was $258 in fiscal year 2019. What did I say to you? That it's not thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. $258 a month. Who else is included in this? Mike Davis, are you talking to our amazing veterans? The people who sacrificed to serve our country? Because 1.3 million veterans live in households that participate in SNAP. Because thousands of veterans are unemployed, working in low-paying jobs and have disabilities. And so SNAP helps supplement their low incomes to be able to put food on their table. But according to you, they need to stop reproducing, they need to get off their fat ghetto asses, and they need to go get a job, right? Right, Mike? Several occupations, home health personal care aides, school bus monitors, agricultural graders, maids, housekeeping cleaners. More than 1 in 5 of those workers are participating in SNAP. Oh, those are the people that are actually getting shit done too, right? Most workers that are getting SNAP, they are personal care aides. They're important people. My late father needed that help. They are professional. It's like teaching assistants. They're transportation. They are truck drivers. They are administrative support, like the customer service representatives. Or they're in sales, like cashiers. Those are the kinds of occupations that are the majority of people that are participating in the SNAP program. While many participants are working, they are also getting benefits so that they are getting support in between jobs, right? Because not everybody has jobs year round. So they may get SNAP benefits part of the year and then stop getting them once they actually have more money. 1 in 9 workers have jobs with pay that would leave their family below the poverty line despite having full-time year-round work, so that's why the SNAP benefits help them. 4 of the 6 occupations that are expected to add the most new jobs over the next decade have median wages ranging from 22 to 30% lower than the national median. Health personal care aides, restaurant cooks, stockers, order fillers, hand laborers, freight stock, and material movers. Jobs that have irregular or unpredictable schedules, jobs that are seasonal, jobs that change from week to week, those are people that are also getting SNAP benefits. Only 58% of workers in the lowest wage quartile had paid sick leave in 2023, right? As compared to 80% of workers. So if that's the case, then fewer of these workers getting paid sick leave or vacation, what happens? They're forced to leave their jobs if somebody gets sick in their family and they have to give care. So they go and they seek help by way of SNAP benefits. More than 2/3 of SNAP participants at any given point in time are not expected to work. So let's talk about them. Children, older adults, or disabled people, SNAP benefits benefit them all. It's not just the people that are able-bodied that are working, it's the people that can't or their children. These numbers are inescapable realities. And I wanted to make sure you guys understood the facts of this, and many of you do, but I wanted this to be heard for people like Mike Davis. Let's talk about Florida. Florida, that's supposed to be some amazing fucking place run by Governor Ron DeSantis, right? In his fully Republican legislature, his Republican AG, and you know, the ass-kissing extraordinaire partisan hackery that is Florida. In 2024, SNAP helped 3 million Florida residents, or 13% of the state's population. There's 42 million participants in the United States in 2024 that were receiving SNAP benefits. In Florida, more than 59% of SNAP recipients are families with children. More than 41% are families with members who have older adults who are disabled or are disabled, And more than 37% of SNAP recipients in Florida are in working families. SNAP last year in 2024 lifted almost 500,000 people above the poverty line in Florida, including 224,000 children each year between 2015 to 2019 on average. That's a lot of children, 250,000 children lifted from the poverty line because of SNAP benefits in Florida. Ready for this? The average SNAP benefit in nominal dollars for the fiscal year of 2024, for each household member per day, $6.12. That's the price of a fucking cup of coffee, right? At a commercial chain. The average monthly SNAP benefits in the fiscal year of 2022 in the state of Florida for households with children, $469, for working households, $346, for households with older adults, $156, and for households with non-elderly disabled individuals, $235. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, pre-Trump's bullshit, estimates that in a weak economy, $1 in SNAP benefits generates $1.50 in economic activity. People, $300 million to that atrocity of an East Wing, well, that's not left, ballroom. $200 million to DHS leaders, including Kristi Noem, dog killer, so they can fly around in private jets. $170 billion in additional funding for immigration enforcement activities, courtesy of H.R. 1, the big bullshit bill. And $40 billion to Argentina. Are you mad yet? Are you mad yet? Are you outraged? Because you should be. We're going to give $40 billion to Argentina, but we're not going to feed our children, our elderly, or our disabled. I don't want the find out part for our Republican friends and neighbors, etc. But you know what? Maybe this is what they need. I don't know what to tell you. Because this is insanity. This is not the way that a democracy is supposed to be run, because it's really not, right? It's a kleptocracy. It is. How can Donald Trump benefit himself? Because all of this, the money to Argentina, the ballroom, the DHS, all of this is to create a white Christian nationalist country. According to Mike Davis, get rid of ghetto people and to give this motherfucker a $300 million ballroom, which is just gaudy. I mean, asshole has no taste. Be mad, be outraged, demand accountability. Thanks for hanging in on this video. Spread this video far and wide. Let people know the facts, people, about SNAP benefits. It's not for low-income ghetto people. It's not for welfare kings and welfare queens. Like I said, it's not a dog whistle. It's a racist fucking bullhorn. That's what they're using. It's disgusting. Look out for your fellow American. Make sure people understand what's at stake. Katie Phang here. We launched the Katie Phang News Channel in partnership with the Midas Touch Network so we could bring you the latest in legal and political news. Straight, no chaser. So if you're a fellow truth teller, hit that subscribe button and share the word about this channel so we can build a high information America together.